Hello class, welcome back to University Radlands 101. Today we are going to discuss events. Now I have all the events laid out here for you to see. As you can see, just like people, we have two copies of each event. Now there's different stylings, so that way you know you have an event in your hand instead of a person. So let's compare them real quick. Looks like people have black boxes instead of yellow boxes. All cards in your deck will have a junk effect. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that people don't have a border on them. The events seem to have this really nice yellow and black cautionary border along the side. So events, just like people, are played using your water from your hand. They will have a cost and a timing to them. So we're going to break this down really quick. So as I mentioned before, we still have the junk effect in the corner. The cost of the card, so this specific card costs 2. The name here, truce. And then there's a bomb with a number. That tells you when the event is going to resolve. So this specific event will immediately go off. That's what 0 means. So return all people to their owner's hands, and punks are people. So if you pay for this card, it's not going to go anywhere in your event queue or your event line. It's going to go directly to your discard pile and resolved immediately. Now, some cards, we'll use Banish as an example, will have a different timing. So this one says 1. So this card costs 1 water and will be placed in spot 1. So nothing's going to happen this turn with that card. Now, at the beginning of your next turn, all events will move up. So this Banish will then move to spot 0, go to your discard, and will resolve. Some will have a 2 spot, and then some will only one event in the game has a 3 spot. Now, say we had this 2 spot full already. We have an uprising right here. And we want to play another uprising. Well, we already have something in spot 2. So this then has to go to spot 3. Same thing, if we already had something in spot 1 and tried to play another 1 event, it'd have to go to 2, and so on and so forth. You cannot have more than 3 events in your line. So if you wanted to play then this 4 cost of bombardment in spot 3, your spot 3 is full. There is no spot 4 off of your play area. You have now filled all of your events. So we're going to put these back over here. There's one really important event in the game. That is the Raiders. You have access to this event at all times. It just gets set over to the side of your play space somewhere. And when you use something with this symbol, whether it's on a card, a camp, a person, or you junk another card, then the Raiders are able to come out. Our Raiders go in spot 2, and they can move. Now, there's only a few cards in the game that will actually mess with or interact with events. So normally, events stay in their spot, and you are not able to move them. Once they're in their spot, they are there. So there is a camp that interacts with events called the Omen Clock. So the Omen Clock, for 1 water, you are able to then move events up by 1. Now this says any event, so keep in mind that you are able to move your own events up 1 when you spend a water, or your opponent's events up by 1 if you spend a water. So keep that in mind. The other card that interacts with events is the Doomsayer. When you play him from your hand for 1 water, you are able to move all of your opponent's events back by 1. So Omen Clock allows you to move them forward. Doomsayer moves all of your opponents back. Now that's for normal events. These cards still interact with Raiders, but Raiders are able to move freely throughout the track as long as you're able to pay for them to move. So you can junk to bring them out. You can junk to move them up 1 space. You can junk to resolve them. You can use a camp such as garage or outpost or scavenger camp to move them along the track. Now, say for our turn, we played a banish. We junked another banish for raiders. We are not able to move raiders up by junking or playing a raiders effect. Banish is in the way. As I mentioned before, events are not able to move unless you have these two cards. So if you have an Omen Clock, you could advance your banish. And then from there, you could then advance your raiders. But if something's in the way, your raiders have to wait. So that's essentially how events work. They're pretty nice. They're pretty handy. Add a little bit of flavor to the game. If you have any other questions, leave a comment, ask. And be sure to check out any of the other videos that we have about some of the other topics in this series. And as always, stay thirsty, punks.